meant for an adult audience. Loveline may contain sexually oriented content. Listener discretion is advised.
Are you ready? Then brace yourself.
This is Loveline with Kevan Kenney and Dr. Tara.
Call or text 833-LOVE-191.
Loveline is on now.
Episode 10. That is 10 for the folks listening at home and in their cars. It is Kevan Kenney. Welcome to Loveline. Dr. Tara's in the house.
Hello.
And producer Muggs.
Hello.
You guys feeling orgasmic?
Oh, yeah.
I stole your line, Tara. It's nice
Always.
To be, nice to be with you. We are sort of fresh out of Valentine's Day season. And while love is in the air, and there are a lot of Scorpios walking around, if you think about it, you do a little bit of math, a lot of people get busy around these times.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm October 28th. My parents probably got busy around this time.
That's right.
November Scorpios.
Oh.
Right.
My parents got busy, I believe, in January because I'm September.
Oh, okay. A little early. Maybe you were like a New Year's
Yeah.
lay.
Yeah. A New Year's lay.
You know what's funny? A buddy of mine, his wife is pregnant. And I said, I don't know if this is an appropriate thing to ask a guy or not, but I said, hey, I've always wanted to ask somebody this. And he's like, you know, a confident enough guy and a normal enough guy. I felt like I could ask him. And I said, do you, she's 4 months pregnant. I said, do you remember when you did it? Like, do you remember the time?
Oh,
when
the
you
conception.
Did it? Yeah, I always think about that. If you're trying to have a baby and then, you know, you remember the actual time where, you know, the puck goes into the net, so to speak, right? And he says he did. He says he remembers exactly the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like, did he remember like what position he was in?
I wasn't
like,
a pervert about it, you know? I was just like, it's interesting.
I would have been the pervert asking about that.
I think about that because I wonder if I ever do become a father, if when I look at my child, my beautiful child, if I'll just think of that. You
what do
know?
you mean your beautiful child? What if your child's ugly?
Why would you even?
Wow.
Why would you even? No.
Tara coming out swinging.
I will say, almost every single baby that I've ever met looks like Elmer Fudd and is ugly. And people that I don't want to hold your baby. Let me do it. You know, when I look at the camera on Loveline, I do a little disclaimer. I told you not to watch movies. It ruins your love life. If you ever see me in any social function, whether you're watching this clip and you don't know me, or you're watching this clip and we went to high school together and we're friends, okay? Don't hand me your baby. I don't want to hold it. I don't want to be around it. I'm very happy for you. It gives me a lot of anxiety. I don't want to drop the baby. And I don't want to lie and say it's cute because it's not cute. It actually looks like a miniature old man.
Oh my God, I just held the cutest baby last night.
You seem like you'd like to hold babies.
I love babies. I held the cutest baby named Charlotte. It's
Oh,
such a
really?
princessy name as well. A queen name.
You know what? I think that's like a high maintenance name.
Oh.
I think rich people name their babies Charlotte, and then they grow up and they're really entitled. And
wow, that's an interesting theory. What about Kevan?
Kevan?
Kevan.
That's probably a parent that knows that they're anticipating that their child is going to be desperate for attention their whole life, and so they said, we'll make him even more unique in his own mind and give him a different vowel there before the N comes in.
Yeah.
So I bring up pregnancy because Muggs is pregnant.
Woo!
I am.
Congratulations.
No, he just
Not the father.
He just went to the taco truck for lunch. No, there is a pregnancy story that concerns, I think, the world of Loveline that we were talking. You forget sometimes when you do a radio show if you talked about it on the air or not, because we will sort of, you know, the S behind the scenes. Now, we talked about this when this happened. Lily Phillips. Explain for the audience. Are you familiar with Lily Phillips, or would you like me to set this up, Dr. Tara?
I want you to set this up.
Okay, thank you very much. And for a woman that has claimed to be a dom on this show, that is growth. All right, I'll take the steering wheel here. Lily Phillips has announced she's pregnant just weeks after she shot to fame for what? Let's play a little game here. What did Lily Phillips shoot quite literally to fame for just weeks ago? And now she's pregnant. Do you want to guess? Muggs, do you want to guess? What would you imagine?
Most basketball trick shots in a row.
You got to stop going to that taco stand, man. I think they're putting something in it. What do you think?
Well, I've seen clips of it on of people talking about on TikTok.
You've seen clips?
No,
you
not clips
pervert.
of the video. I don't subscribe.
Clips of the video?
I'm not subscribing on OnlyFans, but have seen clips on TikTok of people talking about it. So I kind of know in general that it's about her taking the most amount of D, like ever.
Okay.
Like in in all of America.
Or I don't even know if she's
The
American,
world.
right? Hey, I got a question. You're really good friends with that OnlyFans model, Kazumi?
Yes.
So you know how like girls will like each other's photos on Instagram and they'll gas each other up and stuff. And so when you have a dear friend that has an OnlyFans, do you ever, as like a friend, show support and like watch their content or subscribe to their OnlyFans?
I don't subscribe to their OnlyFans, but I like all her photos and videos on social media.
So that's just like the old-fashioned way. Lily Phillips has announced she is pregnant just weeks after she shot to fame for sleeping with 101 men in one day. That's not... Wait, hold on a second. That's not right. 101 men? I thought it was 1,000 men.
Yeah, it was 1,057.
Yeah,
right?
What is this? So this... Wait, hold on. We're getting... Hold on a second. Hold on. This says 1,057 men, but then this says 100 men. There's no way it's 100 men.
I'm going to go with the 1,057.
Well, wait, hold on a second. Please look this up, producer Muggs. Wait, this is what the hell? Anyways, it says here, Muggs, please look at that up.
Yeah.
The adult star took to Instagram to show off her blossoming baby bump. Baby Phillips coming 2025, she wrote alongside the snap. Lily wore a skin-tight, for the perverts listening, Lily wore a skin-tight lounge set in the black and white video as she smiled widely and rubbed her bump. It's official, Lily said with a laugh. She also shared a clip on her TikTok account. In the second post, she shared a picture of 2 pregnancy tests. The secret is out. However, fans have been left confused as one shows she is just 1 to 2 weeks pregnant, which doesn't match her huge bump. So, this could be...
I found it out.
Okay, what is it?
Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue are rivals. Bonnie Blue was the woman who slept with 1,057. Lily Phillips slept with 101.
Okay, so you gave me the wrong article. This is about a different woman.
Great.
Bonnie Blue. Let's call that Muggs math. That is great. That is great. Okay, so Lily Phillips did sleep with 101 men in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And she claims so Lily Phillips is claiming she's pregnant. Now there's another woman named Bonnie Blue who is claiming she's pregnant after sleeping with 1,057 men in 24 hours. So these people are like rivals, Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue, and both now are claiming they're pregnant, but it might sound like Lily Phillips is just doing this for clout and attention. Bonnie Blue, though, that sounds legit. That sounds like Bonnie Blue is legit pregnant. 1,057 men in 24 hours. I'm going to go to the doctor on this one. What are the psychological effects that a woman may experience after having slept with that many men in 24 hours?
So many. I mean, first off, you may experience a lot of anxiety to begin with, because after sleeping with that many people, there are a lot of things that are changing in your body, in your hormones. So all of those could contribute to you feeling anxious, feeling of guilt and shame also, because of all the cultural factors of, not sleeping with 1,000 people in a day. And then one can also experience depression a little bit later afterwards, realizing, perhaps regretting what they have done. If we take a little bit more of a sex positive and supportive route, we could say that, casual sex can come from a more empowering space where the woman, has agency of her own body and she can do whatever she wants to her body. And if this is what she chooses, perhaps if it comes from an empowering place, it does not have negative psychological effects on the person. However, if you dig deeper into things like, I would say, the reward system in your brain, right? You might end up messing up the reward system in your brain because of that so many different sexual experiences in short amount of time. You might kind of fry your circuit.
So when you talk about the depression she might feel, is that entirely a direct result of sort of societal guilt and societal ideas on what a woman should or shouldn't do? Or are there any sort of biological responses that may happen when a woman has sex with that many men that would lead to depression?
I feel like there could be, it could be a result of a drop of a high, like if you're experiencing things that are like very sensational, you have all the heightened levels, right, in your brain. And so after such sensational, unique experiences, you tend to experience a drop. And it doesn't sound like she has like a stable partner that can give her like aftercare and love and affection. Have you heard of aftercare?
No, aftercare?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a part of the sexual practice and within a sexual encounter where after, let's say, penetration or, well, actually, let me back up. It comes from the kink community. So in kinky sex, whatever it may be, like BDSM or other things, when you're done from the scene, you engage in aftercare because there is a drop from all the heightened levels during the encounter. And aftercare can involve things like cuddling, speaking positively about the experience, giving each other verbal affection and nonverbal affection, and debriefing what had happened. It doesn't sound like she has someone to do that with. And people have found that aftercare is extremely crucial in sensational sexual experiences, which, wouldn't you say sleeping with 1,000 people is quite sensational?
That's pretty sensational.
Yeah.
So what is the etiquette, by the way, in terms of like cuddling after a one-night stand? Because sometimes I'm caught in this, back in my single days.
Asking for a friend?
Well, no, I'm saying back in my single days. I'm not having one-night stands now. I have a girlfriend. But in my single days, I would have this sort of dilemma or conundrum, what have you. And you'd hook up. It would be a one-night stand. It would be like the first, a first date one-night stand. I go, man, am I a jerk if I don't cuddle her? Or because I tend to on the spectrum of cuddling, I would be more of a cuddler than not cuddler, and so I like to be a hospitable person, and so I barely know this woman. I don't even know if I'll remember her name in 6 months.
Oh my God!
But I'm saying, but I feel rude that we're in this bed and I'm not cuddling. But then I think, well, wait, that might be weird, and I don't want to make her uncomfortable. And maybe she just wanted sex, and then she didn't want to cross that sort of line. Muggs, where do you go when you have one night stands, or when you have in the past? Do you cuddle them?
Not really.
Yeah.
No, there's no aftercare.
I would say, are you with me where, like, if they're like, hey, why aren't you cuddling me? Then I'll cuddle.
Right.
But I don't want to assume. Right. I'm so ecstatic and I'm so grateful that they even had sex with me that I'm like, man, this was great. I'm leaving a 5-star Yelp review regardless. So I if you need anything else from me, I'm there. But if that was it, hey, that was pretty cool that just happened.
I wish there was a Yelp review from past lovers.
I've thought about that too. What a great concept that was. Somebody actually got in a big lawsuit. Can you look this up, Mug? Somebody here, I believe in West LA, if you want to look that up, there was a Facebook group of don't date this guy.
Oh,
and then there was some guy.
I've seen those pages.
Yeah, but some guy, I'm pretty sure, sued the women. This was a number of years ago. Muggs, if you can get anything concise and
there is a website, or there's a community page on Facebook called Don't Date Him.
Yes,
yeah.
But try to go to the news tab on Google, and there might be an article about what I'm talking about. But I don't think it wouldn't be fair, because I think there's a lot of people that had bad experiences, and they might be crazy, and we have to vet the crazy people that are making up stories about people, or maybe people can.
You mean the app?
Yeah, if you were to do that, because it is fascinating.
Yeah.
But on the topic of sort of having sex with 1,057 men in 24 hours. So what happens to a woman after she has sex with a man? Is there any sort of broad stroke information you can share? Because obviously that's going to probably be different biologically than a man after he has sex.
Interestingly, there are some shared similarities of experiences, especially if you dig deeper into the human psyche. So there's a concept called pair bonding. And it comes from sociobiological and evolutionary biology. But the concept overall explains that, through a sexual experience, you may grow this connection and pair bonding with this person, something that allows for the two of you to be together in a monogamous manner. So social monogamy and sexual monogamy. So when you think about having sex with someone, and not knowing if this will have sexual exclusivity, then it can cause kind of sadness or anxiety or maybe self-doubt and lower amount of like self-esteem or self-worth because of that pair bonding experience. Like after sex, you're like, oh, now we're more bonded.
That's what your brain is saying.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's true?
But then like societally, it might not be because casual sex is so common.
Yeah, but what do you think the long-term effects are of this generation that I would say are like millennials and Gen Z, where the long-term effects of this sort of anxiety that is born out of dating now in your 20s and early 30s as a young person, where you have no idea, and I think maybe women experience this more in heterosexual dating than men because they might care more. You have no idea if this guy that you really like and you're having sex with consistently is having sex with other women also consistently. And I think that probably there's a lot of anxiety that induces. And maybe with men too, if you really like a girl and you're like, wow, I have no idea, like, I'm assuming that it's just us. And of course, like, you don't want to rock the boat and you don't want to ask those questions. You don't want to be the needy one, but that's got to have lasting effects, don't you think, that are harmful in terms of that anxiety that may be a part of dating now that wasn't 20 to 30 years ago?
100%. I mean, nowadays, when I talk to my students at Cal State Fullerton, shout out, when I talk to my students, they're like, well, I'm in a sort of a situationship. So common. I would say at least 50% of every class that I teach, like, they're in some sort of situationships. And I told my mom about like the concept of situationship. My mom's like, oh, back in the days, like, you just get married first and then you cheat on your partner, like, secretly. You don't say you have situationships.
You know what's funny? I do love that because I think we romanticize the past as this sort of like, and everyone's always done this, right? And it's probably, if you want to like psychoanalyze it, we romanticize the past because the past is inherently simpler,
right? And
everything is more complicated and we have to navigate that as humans, right? But the past does get romanticized, especially in regards to what your mom is sort of poking fun at. It's like, was it really better when, grandpa would marry grandma and then like just every night after work cheat on grandma?
Yeah.
Or worse, beat grandma in some instances. And it's like, the infidelity of like one of the greatest pilots in television history is the Mad Men pilot. And I believe David Chase did that show, who came from the, or maybe he executive produced it, but he, Matt Weiner wrote it. Whatever, nobody cares. Point is it was like sort of the follow-up to the Sopranos writing team, this Mad Men show. And you watch the whole episode and you think that this guy, Don Draper, the lead character, is a single man in Manhattan because you see him sleeping with women.
Right.
You see him taking other women on dates. And in the final scene of the pilot, he goes home to his family. And it's almost like if you're old enough to remember the original Planet of the Apes. You ever see that, Muggs?
Yeah.
And Charlton Heston, is that how you say his name?
Yep.
And you think they're on some crazy planet, and then in the future, and then or in the past rather, and then they're on the beach and they look and it's the Statue of Liberty covered in sand, and you're like, whoa, this is like the future of the Earth. It's kind of like that, but that kind of brilliantly shows you what marriages were like in the mid 20th century.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love that show, and that pilot is an amazing pilot. And when he went home, he acted like nothing happened. Like, it's so normal. It's like it's like in his DNA to be able to like just go have sex with this girl, then go take this girl to lunch, then go home to my wife and kids.
I could never do that. I've never cheated on a girlfriend, and I don't think I ever could. It would feel like
you have never, ever engaged in any sort of affair.
No, I would
Really?
feel like, I'm not saying I'm holier than thou, and I'm not saying I'm good for this.
Even when you were like a teenager, accidentally kiss someone.
I don't think so.
Really?
Because I just think it's like getting away with murder or something. You know what I mean? It's just like
it's a sort of a cowardly act.
I would just feel gross. I would feel weird around the person. I would act different. I'm a big fan of honesty.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's like power and control.
Yeah.
Because now you never have to remember some lie. You can go, no, this is what happened. You know what I mean?
You are a very honest person. And you like respond to things so quickly too with your honesty. And sometimes it's like borderline a little bit rude, but it's okay because I know that it's well intentioned.
It is well intentioned.
Hey, I found that article.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
This is like my student at the end of the semester, like, can I get extra credit?
Yeah, exactly. Muggs, very quickly, what does it say?
Wadsworth man planning to sue Meta after being posted in private date screening group. A Wadsworth man believes the sharing has gone too far and he feels he's been defamed and bullied within the group after being posted several times. And it's the group on Facebook, Are We Dating the Same Guy?
Okay.
Well, it's free speech. He has no
he
rights.
He read that so fast. I meant just kind of get on with it, not read it really fast. And Wadsworth, that's a town, right? For anyone listening outside of the Southern California area?
Yeah, Cleveland, Akron, Canton, Ohio, I guess.
What?
It's around that part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was referring to an entirely different story.
Wadsworth. No, it's the same guy. It's the same story. Suing Meta.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
But wait, my question is back to Bonnie Blue and Lily, what's her face?
Phillips.
Phillips, thank you. So they're both pregnant, right?
Yes.
So how do they find out the father?
That's
I don't know, dude. Maybe 1,000 people have to do paternity tests.
That is kind of interesting, right?
I mean, yeah. Are they keeping it? I haven't read the articles.
So do you think this is bad for women to do?
What?
Have sex with 1,000 men in a day?
I don't like judging other women for what they do with their own bodies.
But with what you've learned in the world of academia...
But I would never do it. And I would
do
not
it.
let my daughter do it.
Okay, but I'm saying with all of your reading and all of your studies and, with your experience in the world of academia when it comes to sexual health...
Right.
Are there any bona fide... Are there bona fide downsides to doing this?
Yeah.
There are?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And would those
There are potential many negative effects, yes.
Are there just as many negative effects as if a man did this?
I would say so, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's even?
Yeah, I would say so. If you're thinking of it deeper, like the psychology, the hormones, then yeah, I would think so.
It's 1-to-1 is what you're saying?
Probably more with women.
More with women.
Yeah.
It would have to be, right?
When
Because
it
there's
comes to 4-year-old Shania, Joe, you are not.
Oh my God.
They could do. I really mean this. This would be, and this is an idea you can steal, Bonnie Blue. They should do Maury in a stadium.
Oh.
Like a more, or Maury like at what is this? We give away
SoFi?
tickets on KROQ. No, the other one.
The Forum?
The Forum?
No, the stadium, the soccer deal.
LAFC.
BMO.
BMO. Everyone always says
When
it
it comes
wrong.
to
I was like,
I think that's a
three-month-old
great.
Nehemiah. Andrew, you are not.
I'm telling you, you could
I
do
think
that.
that's a great business idea.
It is a good business idea, but getting back to this issue, right? So there is some credibility to men wanting to spread their seed and women wanting to sort of find a provider, right?
Right.
Okay, so then it would be worse for a woman to do this because
Right.
their body is going to
Right.
think over and over, this is a provider to a certain extent, right?
Right.
Okay, and then so are there downsides to being incredibly promiscuous in your 20s and then trying to settle down for a woman and a man?
Define promiscuous.
Very promiscuous, tons of partners, tons of casual
What's
sex
tons?
partners. Let's say 100 something people in your 20s.
Okay. I think it depends on where it comes from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think though that if you've never had a serious relationship and you've just kind of slept around a bunch that you're going to?
If you've never had a relationship.
Well, maybe you've never had a
ever.
serious relationship. I just think there's probably a downside to that,
And
right?
you go from casual to casual to casual, and you've never been able to maintain a relationship, then yeah, that's problematic.
Do you ever see in your line of work, by the way, where people in this day and age will not want to be offensive, and so maybe that compromises the advice they give out? I'm not saying that applies to you, but it's to me, it's we definitely live in a time. And more so for better than for worse. I think the better here outweighs the worse. But just for the sake of the debate, where we live in a time where it's do whatever you want to do.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But there are downsides, I think, that aren't being explained. That I think it's if you're not building skills, it's like anything. If you've never ridden a bike and then at 30 you try to ride a bike, you're going to ride a bike probably like a 10-year-old, right? And so I think that if you've never tried to seriously have a serious relationship and all you've done is sleep around, I think that you will probably have a relationship and behave like a child, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have the interpersonal skills to initiate, to escalate, or maintain a serious romantic relationship. So you're right. Yeah, then that person might hit, their 30s and realize oh wow, this is really hard. because it takes so much more work than casual sex.
Right.
Casual sex is like the easiest thing in the world, especially for women. You just have to show up at a bar and you can have casual sex.
Well,
When it comes to 5-month-old Elijah, Johnny, you are not.
Poor Elijah. Elijah's somewhere in the world right now. We do have to get to break, but very, very quickly, a question for you. If a man, I'm not making a joke here, if a man masturbated 1,057 times in a day, okay? No, I'm being serious. Would that have the same effects as if a woman had sex with 1,057 men? A man masturbating that many times or a woman having sex with that many men in a day?
Not the same.
It's not the same. And what changes that is it's with a human being. And you think the brain recognizes it's a human being?
Yeah.
Okay. We will be back on Loveline with fan questions that have been sent in via, I believe, Instagram and social media. By the way, if you're listening to Loveline right now or the podcast, you can call us or leave a message at 1-833-LOVE-191. That's 1-833-5683-191.
And now, back to Loveline.
Loveline with Kevan Kenney and Dr. Tara.
Loveline on KROQ.
How do you do? Kevan Kenney, Dr. Tara, just as that man told you. We're going to get into some listener questions, some fan questions that were sent in by social media. You are also invited, if you're listening live on KROQ, 1-833-LOVE-191. That is 1-833-5683-191 if you want to give us a call. Or if you're listening on the podcast throughout the week, that phone number also has a voicemail. You can leave an answering a voicemail in the answering machine. And then we will get to that. Might even call you back on the next episode of Loveline. So if you can't get through tonight, by all means, please leave a voicemail. And if you're just joining us on KROQ, the radio show, we were talking about a woman last segment that slept with 1,057 men in 24 hours. We wish her well, Bonnie Blue. And this segment, though, belongs to you. We've got these questions on Instagram at lovebites.co, LUVBITES.co. That is Dr. Tar. You want to reach her direct. And at I Love Loveline if you want to follow the show. Now let's get into this. This is anonymous. One of the big advantages to not calling in, right? And the first question here is: a threesome better than a foursome? Dr. Tara.
Wow. Let's see. No.
Is a threesome better than a foursome? You say no. Is there a clinical reason why? Or is this just like sort of your experience?
There is a reason why. I think that there is a potential attention deficit within a threesome versus a foursome, an even number of any sort, whether it's a foursome or like a group of six. There's always someone that you can sexually interact with, therefore is less in a risk of attention deficit. When you're in a threesome, one person may feel like they're not getting enough attention, or like if the two people kind of, go at it with each other and kind of leave you a little bit, it can cause a lot of like resentment. So I would say a foursome's better.
Right, because then everybody's got a dancing partner.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Now, how often would you say out of the 100% of threesomes, how many go well and how many do not go well?
50-50.
No. There's no way it's 50-50.
What is your assumption?
Well, before I say my assumption, producer Muggs, can you look up percentage? I want you to Google this. Percentage of threesomes that go well, and see if there's any sort of studies that have been done on that.
Okay.
As you look that up, I think it's way more that they do not go well. And whether that's in the moment they don't go well, because most people can't juggle two people at the same time, whether it's in the moment it doesn't go well because, say, the dynamics are off. What I would find is that there would always be two people more into each other than the third person, right?
Interesting. Have you done it before?
Yes, and I just think it's tough.
With two women or?
Always two. Yeah, I've never done two
And
men.
do you feel like you always spend more time with one person?
No. It's more so like I've been in situations where I feel like the third woman is really more into the woman.
An accessory?
What does that mean?
Like someone who just kind of hangs out.
No. It's very sorry. I'm getting a little distracted by this microphone.
The cuck chair.
No,
Yeah.
There's nothing like that going on. No, what I mean is, I would find that the third woman would be more into me and more of a heterosexual woman energy, and maybe something I would be more accustomed to, or it would be a more lesbian energy woman that was more into the other girl.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I would the perfect third, if you will, I think is pretty hard to find.
Oh, interesting.
I found the percentages.
Yeah, give it to us.
Now, this is where it gets confusing because according to Forbes, as in Forbes.com, it says between 65% and 74% of men found threesomes and group sex unappealing, as did about 90% of women.
Oh, but that's just their
But that's
thoughts,
just the
not the
thought.
people that
Yeah.
have done it.
Okay, so then...
So this isn't really what we asked
hold
you
on.
to find.
No,
Okay.
I got the
All right.
just like Lily, whatever her face is. And by the way, I don't mean to get off on a tangent. How are you going to compete with 1,057 men and just do 100?
That's your takeaway? My takeaway is we asked you to find an article that is linked in the show notes.
You gave me that article, by the way.
This is not the article.
You put that article
All right,
in the
boys,
email.
settle down.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay, according to available research, a significant portion of threesomes are considered positive experiences, with estimates suggesting that around 70 to 80% of people who participate in a threesome reported as a positive experience, particularly among men. That's hard to say.
All right. So the other thing I was saying, thank you, Muggs, just to acknowledge that did happen. But no, with the thing that I would say about threesomes is they could go bad during, but then you always have the next day. And if there's alcohol involved, if there's drugs involved, you have the next day where you're like, is everybody cool the next day?
Or regret.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't get through the storm of the threesome when it's over. Yeah. You have to kind of see how the next day and the next week go. So that's
my first threesome was in Amsterdam.
Really? I feel like that's kind of corny. I feel like that's like a little cliche.
No, it's not.
Like,
do you know another person that has a threesome in Amsterdam?
I bet you millions. That is like the sex tourism capital of the world. That's like you saying to me, like, have you ever heard of somebody going to New York City and getting a hot dog? Have you ever heard of somebody going to New York City and getting a slice of pizza?
I went to Amsterdam and got the hot dogs. Let's say that.
That was always an aspirin. That's gross. That was.
I don't get it.
He just wants you to explain it. Don't explain it. He's a pervert. That was always an aspirational place for me as a kid to go because of the movie Euro Trip. You ever watch that movie?
No.
Oh, Muggs, you've seen that movie, right?
Of course.
Yeah. And there's a big thing
I should
with
watch
that
it.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's probably terrible. I've actually think that has not aged well at all, that movie. Now, this next question from a listener comes in and says, how can I tell if she is enjoying the sex?
Ooh, there are a lot of telltale signs. I would say, like, one, if she's moaning.
That's not a sign. You've been on this very program, and you've told us that
some people fake moaning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people fake moaning. Every single fake orgasm is inspired by the moaning. I've been on this program and I've said to you, well, I felt like my whole life a telltale sign was the physical sensation of a woman climaxing.
Contraction.
Right, but then you were on this program, doctor, and you told us that women will contract in a fake way.
Not all women.
Not all women, of course, but I'm saying that you said a telltale sign is moaning.
Yeah.
That is a terrible telltale sign.
Well, I orgasmed this morning and I was moaning like crazy.
I bet you were, but you're an honest lover.
Yeah.
From
I
what
had
I've
a
heard.
stomach ache this morning and I was moaning like crazy.
But the question is,
After
what
he
are some
climaxed.
signs? Not like, oh, my partner is dishonest. What are some other signs?
But I'm saying this guy is writing into Loveline.
Okay.
Because I bet you he's listened to Loveline, first
Okay.
of all. That's how he's aware of it. And he's heard you say that moaning and people fake orgasm. We talked about Amy Schumer, the comedian actress. She has never had a
an
climax.
orgasm.
Right. Can you say orgasm there, Muggs? We're saying it a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a scientific any scientific term you're allowed to say.
Oh, okay. So I don't. We can't say that it's moaning.
Okay.
What is what I'm after is what is for the listener it's foolproof. Somebody cannot fake this. Like in the same way that a man, if Muggs, help me here because you know what I can and can't say. If a man produces a substance.
Ejaculate.
Okay, I think it was enough, man.
Wow.
I hate how you say that word, by the way. Really hate it.
Ejaculate.
Stop it, because I have a positive relationship with that idea.
That's a good soundbite.
So but if a man produces a substance, an ejaculate,
Yeah.
you can't fake that.
Yeah.
That's a foolproof
Yeah.
sign that man climaxed. What is a foolproof sign that a woman is climaxed?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
And this is why men don't trust women.
Nothing.
This is why.
Yeah.
This is why men don't
100%.
trust women.
Wait.
Ask any sexologist
Wait,
in the
wait, wait,
world.
wait, wait.
Nothing.
What if-
Because we can fake the contractions. We can fake the moaning. We can fake the gripping.
Hold on.
Let me go. Yeah,
You
Muggs is
can't-
like, what if they call
No.
you? What if they really like you?
What if,
Dr.
Well,
Taro.
what if they say they like you?
It's more scientific than that. What about when women produce their ejaculate?
Oh yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah.
sure.
Well, no. Are you? Hold on a second. I'm talking about something else.
What
I
are we
think.
talking about?
He's a pervert, so I think I know what he's talking about. Are you talking about
The S word?
a type of soda?
Yeah.
Are you talking about that type of soda?
Not only the soda, but the actual lubricant, the natural lubricant that a woman produces.
No, but I think
they can be lubed up when they're horny, but doesn't mean they orgasmed.
No, but there's so many. I know, but there's so many. I'm actually curious about this.
The
'Cause there's-
soda?
No, I'm not. No, stop it. I think that's a total myth. Don't you? Isn't that the soda's a myth?
No.
By
Just
the way-
did that
by the
this
way-
morning.
Yeah.
But
No, it's not. It's so
you don't
great.
think a lot of it is
the
like
the S orgasm is, I think, the best orgasm.
well.
It's the most relieving of like.
Then why
How
do
do you
people?
fake
There's
that?
there's a lot of people that say it's it's
Urine.
Can you say that? You can
Yeah,
say
urine
right?
is-
Urine, yes.
medical.
Scientific
Bodily-
medical
okay.
term, yeah.
But a lot of people say that's urine.
It's both.
Oh, it's both.
It's both. It's women. It's the secretion of liquids from the skin glands,
okay.
but also mixed with urine because it's like from the bladder.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if we got a sex doctor to come on and say that it's urine? Would you debate that sex doctor?
Yeah.
Would you? We
I-
could do like a presidential debate with like
It-
podiums and stuff.
it-
Would you do
sure,
that?
sure.
Because I think I've seen like experts say it's urine.
It is urine and also liquids from the skin's glands.
Okay, so but is it
It's
like
a mix of both.
Be honest, Doc. Is it like 99% urine?
I'm not
Is it
measuring
basically-
people's
What
urine
I'm
in their
saying-
house.
But
Next
I'm
time.
saying, okay, if a guy, right? Because a lot of
Yes,
guys are
yes,
into that. It's
yes.
very visual. It's like perfect
Yes.
for a guy, right? To like be into that.
Right.
Now, if a guy experiences the receiving end of the soda,
Yeah.
as we're gonna call this on Loveline,
Soda.
We're children.
soda. Okay, is he is face?
Yeah. Yes. Which is hot.
That's not so. I mean, but that
It's
okay,
so hot.
See,
Urine-
careful how you say that, though, because that's
Okay, well, just
describing
you're the
things.
one. You're the one on the ones and the twos back there. so okay, but why then is like? Can I say?
No, you cannot.
I just said I can't
Because
say
that's-
that. What can I say?
I don't know
that?
because it's a slang.
All right,
Yeah.
all right,
So that needs to be clipped out.
All right. All right. So, why is can I say? I know what I'll say. Why is urine? Why is urine in the bedroom looked at as gross, which I find that to be very gross. I would say most, like the average person's like, that's gross. But then you're telling us that the soda is mostly urine, but a lot of people are into that.
What do you mean urine in the bedroom?
Like urine in the bedroom. We're on
Who
a radio
does that?
show.
Urine in
You're
the bedroom.
not a child.
That's a police song, right?
No, oh my God. This is you're gonna have to edit this one.
You didn't even hear
There's
that
a
joke.
whole I know. There's a whole genre of pornography that includes urine. I cannot be the only person that is aware of this. Muggs.
Yes, I can confirm.
Okay,
that.
yeah. Tara, what's going on right now?
What are you talking about? Oh, like porn?
Okay, now
but you can't say that.
You can't say that.
So why is urine in the bedroom thought of as very gross? And I find that gross. No offense, right?
No offense.
But it's part of demeaning play.
You're gross, but no offense.
No, because you're talking about it in the context of the soda. So why is the soda such a turn on for, I think, both genders of men and women? And then the urine is like thought of as really gross when the soda is basically urine.
Because I think the soda is an expression of extreme pleasure, and both the giver and the receiver love that feeling. Like obviously, as a receiver and of the act that causes. This is very hard, by the way.
To talk about?
FCC.
That's what she said.
Oh my God. As a receiver of the act that causes the soda, it is very pleasurable. So I don't think about whether or not it's quote unquote dirty or gross. I don't think about that because I'm the receiver of the act and it feels good. The person who's the giver of the act, I think, finds it as an accomplishment.
Well, what do you say to women that may this show is so annoying. I just have you know, if you're watching Loveline, it's the most annoying show to host on a radio station because you just want to talk like a normal person, and then it's like you gotta think of these weird ways to talk about stuff. There are women in the world that will feel that sensation coming on, and they associate it with urine, and they will stop you from whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
What do you say to those women?
I think there is a lot of...
Let it go.
I would actually say that. It is one of the best feelings in the world to soda.
Why is it better than like a different kind of orgasm?
I feel like when you hold on to it, it almost like it gives you this feeling of like blue, can you say it? Blue testicles.
Okay.
Yeah, that other word, blue
Yes.
testicles.
Thank you.
It almost gives you that feeling because it's like not complete.
It does, I don't know if it's more painful for women than guys, but I've seen, again, more inexperienced people that don't know what that sensation is, and they have that association with urine or going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the night, it's not that fun to be around that person because they're experiencing what you're talking about.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you've caused many women blue testicles?
Well, you're being very kind by saying many. It has happened in, multiple times, but it's typically with someone who has never felt that.
Right. And also they don't want to like cause a mess.
Yeah, but I think more so, at least in my experience, it's like they think they're gonna like, that feeling
full on.
Yeah, and even guys listening might relate to this. Like, if you feel like you can't make it to the bathroom, right? Like that seems like the worst thing that could happen to you, right? It's something we've all can relate to.
Yeah,
they might feel that, and then they're like, I don't know this guy that well, or whatever.
That's true. I cannot soda with like a casual sex partner.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you guys ever had to number two during sex?
No.
Really?
No.
Yeah,
of course. Just tell the story, Mike.
I was receiving, let's just say the act of oral was going on, and I had the worst stomach in the world during that, and it just totally threw me off. I had just done the Hot Ones challenge like 2 hours before too, so I had heartburn as well, and that was also throwing me. Yes.
Okay, so for people
Tara,
the people that don't eat terribly unhealthy diets, what is the Hot Ones challenge?
the Hot Ones challenge is all the levels that they do on the famous social media page, Hot Ones, of all the different level of hot sauces on chicken wings.
How many levels are there?
I think there's
many.
8.
Okay.
Usually.
You know what? Sometimes I would internalize when I'd invite Muggs out on the weekends and he wouldn't come, and I'd go, well, what is he doing? He's just not answering me. And then now we know he's eating 8 levels of hot sauce.
And then receiving oral and has to go number 2.
Yeah, that's disgusting, man. So is that the only time that's happened, Muggs?
Get out of there. It's going to blow.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah,
That's
I think
lovely.
so. I think it has.
Well, that sounds terrible. I'm glad. I'm glad.
What about you, Tara?
I've never had to go number 2, to be honest, but I have had the feeling that I had a flatulence.
Oh. Well, is you can have flatulence, right? I don't think I can say that word that starts with a Q, right?
No,
I can't say that. But that's a real thing.
that is a real thing.
Sometimes
That's from the
Air
That's
pocket being produced.
yes, in the vagina.
What makes it more prevalent with certain women? Because certain women you'll be intimate with, and it's like it's making it a lot. That noise.
I don't know if it's more certain women or also the act. like certain positions,
angles and stuff like
also
that?
when you change positions often.
Okay. Right on. Let's get to the next question here. This person says, I'm 15. Can I have sex? I swear that's the answer.
I don't think I can legally say you can.
Right.
Because they're not 18.
Well, I mean, are you able to give advice to people under the age of 18?
I mean, yeah, like I can cite some research. Research found that people have their sexual debut at actually about 13 years old.
Why don't you just say losing your virginity?
It's sexual debut.
Why is that offensive?
It's sexual debut.
Can I be honest? Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
And you can be honest with me. Do you have any sort of financial stake in this term, sexual debut? Have you copywritten it? Have you trademarked it? Is it part of merch?
No.
Why is it, of all the world's problems, what is the problem with the loss of virginity?
Because it's the academic, like sexual debut is the correct term. Is the academic term. I'm a professor. I use academic terms. I can use the other way too.
Oh, so you're using it for academia purposes.
Yes,
it's not
it's
because
an academic
losing
term.
your virginity offends somebody.
Well, it also does.
Why
because
does that? Okay, but there's a lot of things in society that people say, well, that's offensive. Mm-hmm. Do you think we could find somebody who's like, don't you dare say that around me? Like they're actually legitimately offended?
Yeah, the FCC.
By saying losing your virginity?
No.
Oh. Why would you joke about the FCC on this show?
We are very scared. We are very.
I know. Why
they're
would
like
you do that?
They're like the principals, and I'm just so scared.
But no, seriously, like, do you think you could find somebody?
Yeah.
You really
I think so.
And they're walking around every day, and they're like if they're at the supermarket and they're they've got their bag and they're at checkout, and the people around them, I lost my virginity last night. You think there's somebody that would turn around,
yes,
and they would say, "Excuse me,
it's
do
sexual
not say that
debut."
around me. Excuse me. That might be the only thing that could put a damper on losing your virginity. Don't you think, Muggs? I mean, you are so over the moon when you lose your virginity, and then you go to Ralph's, the grocery store here, and there's someone in front of you that turns around and shames you publicly for using that term.
Well, I mean, I think
Why is it offensive?
we can all just like use sexual debut. Why not? It's so much more fun. Okay, losing your virginity has a negative connotation, right? It assumes that like you're losing something important, something good, right? Like you're no longer pure.
You are losing it, no matter how you say it. You are losing.
What are you losing? You're gaining. You're gaining sexual pleasure. You're gaining sexual connection. What are you losing?
Bro, you don't have to sell me on the benefit of losing.
But tell
your virginity,
me what you're losing.
That was
tell me exactly what you're losing.
Being a virgin. Like you're no longer a virgin.
What's a virgin? Someone who has never had sex.
Yeah, it's someone who's never had sex.
So then the first time you have sex is called sexual debut.
Okay, but who is like so? Before you had a threesome in Amsterdam, right?
Yes.
You had never had a threesome in Amsterdam, right?
Right,
Okay.
right.
So then afterwards,
that
no
was
matter
my
what
threesome debut.
Well, no matter what you call that, you have now you can no longer say you've never done that, right?
Right.
So you did lose the ability to say that you've never done that. Also, isn't there a physiological the hymen?
No.
That's not a thing?
You most people, if you like play sports, if you like ride bikes long distance, like you don't have that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why some girls, the first time they have sex, they're very concerned if they're like don't bleed or because there's such a weird cultural thing about like bleeding, as in like that's my first time.
Yeah,
right?
that used to scare me, man. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not true.
I'm not good with blood, and I would always be like, man, I hope that doesn't happen. I just hope that doesn't happen.
No, and for most girls, it doesn't happen.
But explain to me why it's offensive. Why is losing your virginity offensive?
Because it has a negative connotation of losing something instead of gaining, when in fact sexual experiences, if it's positive, is a very positive thing. So instead of losing something, you're gaining something.
Yeah, but you don't have to sell people on it. Like, people want to lose that. It's like credit card debt.
It's not selling. It's just about using correct terms.
But like, imagine being like,
I'm not selling anything.
No, but you're very passionate, I'm saying, about, and I'm just curious, like,
because I like correct terms.
But who does that hurt? Who does losing
women?
Yeah, but don't you think that, like, so you're saying that women are being judged because they've lost their virginity?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Is like we live in a purity culture, right? Have you heard of purity culture?
Yeah.
Where like women are seen as either a Madonna or a whore.
Right.
And like if you're a quote unquote virgin, then you are more worthy than someone who is not.
Yeah.
And that is extremely problematic. And that's why we say sexual debut instead of losing your virginity.
Yeah, Kevin, if you're not a virgin, you can't be sacrificed anymore.
Remember the good old days? You know what I think could solve that issue? Is if we more clearly explained to young men who are driving this whole narrative, right? And sort of like pushing the toxic side of purity culture. If we could explain that the downsides of that they associate with women who have had sex or maybe a lot of sex or whatever, right? And I don't even want to say this because, I mean, we live in such a crazy society that like if a woman's had sex with 5 guys, like, oh my God, 5 men, you know?
I had sex at 5 guys.
Yeah, you did. And you probably had flatulence, pervert. Gross. Anyways, it's like the downsides to a woman who is promiscuous is that they might not pair bond as effectively. They might not be as loyal, maybe, right? And that's, by the way, that's a hypothetical. That's not every single woman that's been promiscuous. But men, the joke is on them in a lot of ways because if you were to have sex with someone who's like never had sex before, it is odds on going to be terrible. Let me look in the camera. Terrible sex. It's going to be bad. And it's going to be really amazing and awesome with somebody who has a lot of experience.
Yeah.
So, but if we were more open as a society and talked about that, I think people could get around to it. And like guys have to be Christopher Columbus when it comes to sex, don't you think? It's got to be 1492 every single night for a guy.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just silly. It's very silly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, let's get to this next fan question. How do I get a woman to date me? This guy wants to know.
Wow, it's a very vague question. Like, I need to know a lot about this person to know, like, to be able to evaluate why women do not want to date him.
Well, he looks like a nice guy. This looks like, and can I just say, this looks like a very normal guy.
Okay.
So just a general thing. I'm a normal guy. Maybe I'm a little shy. Maybe I like somebody, and I'm looking for ways to endear myself to the female species. And maybe I spend a lot of time on my computer.
We're
or in
the
my
same
house.
species.
Yes. Whatever. How do we get a woman to date this guy? How could he go about it in a non-creepy way? Because I do think that's probably a struggle for a lot of younger men.
Yeah.
We've talked on the Loveline at I Love Loveline. If you want to follow, we also share like love and sex news and dating news. And there was a recent study that came out that 45% of young men 18 to 25 have never approached a woman in their life. For those guys, what's a good like first step, or what's something good to keep in mind?
I think the very important part of becoming more desirable as like a young man trying to date is becoming more confident. And that is shown or expressed in your like nonverbals, like your body language, the way you speak, the type of questions you ask, and also like be interested in them, and like giving compliments. I think if you get comfortable in your own skin and you speak confidently, like no one's gonna hate, you know, if like the other day I was at the gym and there was this guy like walking past me and he was like, "You have beautiful hair." I did not think that was creepy at all. I was like, "Thank you so much."
He said, "You're a lot like a guy."
What?
You're a lot like a guy. You have a lot like guy.
No, but I don't. None of my girlfriends would be like, "Oh, that's so creepy." Like,
you don't think that'd
that's
be
just
weird?
like, "Thank you."
Muggs, is that not weird? I think that's a little weird, bro. Let the lady work out in peace. Dude.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't walk around in public. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
you wouldn't walk around in public? What? You wouldn't walk around in public?
He should not walk around in public.
I'm a hermit.
That's kind of creepy, though.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. It's a genuine compliment, and he didn't want anything from me. He said it and just walked away.
Were you working out?
No, I walked past him at the gym.
Right, and he said, "You have really pretty hair."
No, he just said, "You have beautiful hair." And then he said, "Thank you."
All right.
And he walked away.
That's fine.
I would just say for most young men listening to Loveline right now, just do that with caution.
Well, I mean, if it's from a genuine place, and if you're confident, and you're not like,
could I smell your hair?
Yeah.
Can I be honest though? The guy who's asking how does he get a woman to date him is not the guy that paid you that compliment. it's a guy who's probably a little awkward, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if we'd start with like, hey, go to the gym, and then when she's like in between sets.
That's not what I'm saying. I said become more confident. Work on yourself.
Yes.
If you're not self-assured, women are not gonna like that. Same with women. Like you don't like women that are insecure, right?
No. No.
I love it.
No.
Just kidding.
I definitely don't.
We all know that, Mux. I think that's a problem that we can unpack later. But
Dude, I'm sorry. We got to get the break, but I'm just thinking about the poor insecure woman that once was performing fellatio on Muggs and going, oh man, is that guy? And Muggs just kind of
this is break.
Yeah, this is gross. This is gross.
Yeah, we're gonna edit that out.
Hey, when we come back, ChatGPT can now write erotica. This is great news. This is great news. And Muggs has actually put together some lit erotica that ChatGPT helped write. That next on Loveline. There you have it. Those are the digits if you want to use the telephone to get a hold of the show. 1-833-LOVE-191. 1-833-568-3191. And if you can't get through tonight, or if you're listening on the podcast throughout the week, just leave a voicemail.
Yeah.
Guess what? Loveline will call you back. It is Kevan Kenney, Dr. Tara, producer Muggs. We told you just before the last break that big news in the world of AI this week. ChatGPT can now write erotica. And Dr. Tara has actually told us on this very show that lit erotica, which is the same thing, right? Is very, very popular with women, and also demisexuals love it as well. So if you're one of those two people that identify as such, you might like this. So it says here that on Wednesday, OpenAI published the latest version of its model spec, a set of guidelines detailing how ChatGPT should behave and respond to user requests. The document reveals a notable shift in OpenAI's content policies, particularly around sensitive content like erotica and gore. Hopefully no one is combining those two things, allowing this type of content to be generated without warnings in appropriate contexts. So big news, ChatGPT can now write erotica as OpenAI eases up on AI paternalism? Paternalism. Oh, like parenting.
Yeah.
Paternity. Okay, there you go. So we said this is a great opportunity to test out this process and this technology. So we gave producer Muggs the job of coming up with a erotica story and giving it to ChatGPT. And then we said, would you be okay with doing this? And Muggs, you said...
Absolutely.
And then we asked Muggs, would you be okay reading this or performing this in maybe a dramatic reading style on Loveline? And Muggs, you said...
Absolutely.
I want drama. I want raunchy.
Right?
I want everything.
Well, so I think all those things are great, but this is a radio show that reaches a lot of people, and the podcast reaches even more. So the only parameters that I gave Muggs is I said, don't make it weird, and maybe use people that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Just so, it's not just about, Billy and Sarah.
Yeah.
You can paint the picture of...
big public figures.
Big public figures, like big names that people would know, so it's entertaining for the listener. And Muggs, were you able to come up with something creative that involves, again, please, people everybody knows?
So creative, and these people are so famous. They're world famous, first of all, and they've been around for decades. I mean,
really?
Everybody.
So they're not like influencers. They're like people everybody would know.
Before influencers, they were the original influencers.
Tom Hanks.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, it's got to be up there. It's got to be like a Tom Hanks or like, because I'm trying to think, and don't spill the beans. I'm curious.
Like George Bush.
George Bush. You went from Tom Hanks to George Bush. Isn't it funny, though? I mean, Dr. Tara grew up in Thailand. I feel like American fame in foreign countries is very interesting, and those are probably two of the most famous Americans in foreign countries. But I would think it would have to be like Tom Hanks or like a Brad Pitt or like a George Clooney or just people like Muggs is saying, the original influencers, like just super famous people if they've been famous for decades.
Martha Stewart.
Was she big in Thailand?
She was she was an original influencer.
That's
I hope it's about Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg.
So would you like to say anything? Down, Tara, down. Would you like to say anything about this erotica story that Muggs loves to take credit for things? Would you say you co-wrote this story, Muggs?
I mean, I came up with the idea.
Okay.
I mean, you have to write, 100 characters into ChatGPT question or chat?
You
have to write like a prompt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is the prompt I came up with.
And then anything you want to say before you launch into the story?
Enjoy.
Okay. All right. Here's Muggs.
I got some music too. Okay, hold on. Let me here we go. In the twilight shadows of the McDonald's on 3rd and Fig, the bright colors of the fast food kingdom took on a more intimate hue. It was here, amidst the joyful sounds of burgers sizzling and the enticing aroma of French fries, that the Hamburglar and Grimace shared clandestine moments, their connection deepening in secrecy. The Hamburglar, with his black and white striped attire, had always been the rogue of the crew, sly and mischievous, known for his skillful heists of delicious burgers. But beneath the playful exterior lay a more profound desire, an appetite for control that only Grimace could satisfy. With his round, soft body and playful demeanor, Grimace was an unexpected match for the Hamburglar's hidden longings. They met at dusk, in the quiet corners of the supply closet, away from the prying eyes of Ronald McDonald. Tonight, the Hamburglar felt particularly bold. He approached Grimace, eyes glinting with playful mischief. "You know what I want, Grimace?" he said, a hint of authority lacing his voice. Grimace's large purple form shivered with anticipation.
"What is it, Hamburglar?"
he replied, eager to please, his voice soft and warm. He loved the thrill of their secret, the delicious tension that bubbled between them. Without a word, the Hamburglar reached out, teasingly tugging at the strap of Grimace's oversized costume. "You like to know how I play?" A hint of wickedness dancing in his tone. The playful banter had always been their warm-up, a way to establish trust and to explore boundaries. Grimace nodded, a shy smile forming his face. He relished the Hamburglar's commanding presence. Their roles were clear. The Hamburglar took control, while Grimace submitted willingly, embracing the pleasure that came with relinquishing power. "Tonight you're mine," the Hamburglar declared, his voice slow and enticing. He gestured for Grimace to kneel, and without hesitation, the large purple figure lowered himself onto the soft grass in the supply closet, the innocents masking their shared secret. As the evening air wrapped around him, the Hamburglar circled Grimace, a predator, observing its prey. "You know what happens when you're a good..." Oh, sorry. "You know what happens when you're a good boy," he teased, reaching down to stroke Grimace's fluffy form, eliciting a rumbling purr of approval. From the corner of the supply closet, the faint sound of Ronald's laughter echoed in the distance, but they paid it no mind. This secret world was theirs, away from the prying eyes and playful antics of the clown. The Hamburglar leaned closer, his breath warm against Grimace's ear. "I want you to beg for it," he whispered, the words sending a delightful shiver through Grimace. He loved submitting to the Hamburglar's commands, finding joy and comfort in each playful challenge.
"Please,"
Grimace replied, his voice thick with longing.
"I want to please you."
The submission, the vulnerability, it thrilled him in ways that he had never imagined. With a smirk, the Hamburglar stepped back, enjoying the sight of Grimace yearning for his approval. "Good, but you know the rules. No one could find out about us. This is our secret." Grimace nodded vigorously, eyes sparkling.
"I promise, just don't stop."
He was eager to dive deeper into their hidden dynamic, where they could explore the desires without judgment or ridicule. As darkness fell over the ice cream machine, the Hamburglar guided Grimace through their playful exploration, crafting a bond grounded in trust, pleasure, and the exhilarating thrill of secrecy. Together, they created a world where they could be themselves, away from the clown's watchful gaze, and the promise of more adventures lingered tantalizingly in the air. And so, under the embrace of the night, the Hamburglar and Grimace found solace in each other, their secret relationship blossoming amidst the sizzling of the chicken McNuggets in the deep fryer. That's it. There you go. Yeah.
Don't clap for that.
Yeah.
He tried.
That was hard doing it live.
I've never felt the need during any radio broadcast to go and take a shower and burn the clothes that I am wearing. But something deep inside me is calling me to do that right now. I have so many takeaways from that. Let me begin with I never want to eat there ever again. And then secondly... I don't know what this says about me or society. As I'm listening to the story that Muggs co-wrote with a robot, I'm thinking about how it's Grimace. We'll get to even the characters. The fact that the prompt was to use famous people, and that's where his mind went. But the fact that I'm listening to this, and it's Grimace, and it's the Hamburglar, and they're trying to keep this dom-sub relationship from the clown, who I assume is Ronald McDonald. I think to myself, this is actually probably happening at McDonald's across the country, but it's just people that work at McDonald's that are having some weird thing in the office and they don't want their manager to know.
Oh, and like, you're the Hamburglar.
Yeah.
You're the Grimace.
And there's all this sexual tension as one of them, flips the fries and packages the Big Macs, if you will. Now, how did that story make you feel, Dr. Tara?
I need to go take a shower.
Yes. And maybe a hiatus from this show. Muggs, what did you type in?
My prompt was write an erotica about the Hamburglar being in a secret dom-sub relationship with Grimace, but Ronald McDonald can't find out.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah.
How high were you?
I mean, no higher than I always am.
A couple edibles.
Yeah. 40 milligrams, maybe?
I'm picturing him getting off the phone with me, and he goes, Kev wants me to make a story about really famous people. And Muggs does want to do a good job. Let me be very clear. He really does always come from a good place and wants to do a good job. So he probably thought that this was brilliant because these are more famous than anybody, and everybody knows these people. Grimace and Hamburglar.
I don't think Grimace is a people.
Yeah, what is Grimace?
Isn't he
what
like...
is Grimace, actually?
He looks like a sex toy. He looks like a sex toy.
What kind of sex toys have you seen?
Well, it's a plug for your anus.
For your anus. There's a job.
Oh, but he's purple and fluffy.
You haven't seen the shape of him, Tara? I mean, that's the joke on social media. Look at
almost every.
I'm going to tell you right now. I did not grow up eating McDonald's.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
That's really good.
She's being weird in this episode, and I'll tell you why. She tried to act like she wasn't familiar with urination. Maybe I should say it like this: she wasn't familiar with urine in the bedroom as a thing, and now she's acting like sex toys aren't shaped like Grimace. Almost every sex toy is shaped like Grimace. Almost every single sex toy I've ever seen is shaped like Grimace.
Yeah.
I have never seen Grimace.
Oh, then what are you doing, Say? What the hell are you doing?
I'm searching him now.
Tell me that doesn't look like multiple types of sex
looks
toys.
like a plug.
But what the hell is he? What does it say Grimace is?
I'm a purple fluff.
No, nothing.
What
Does
is
he
it?
even speak? I don't think he even talks.
Well, in your story, he did.
Yeah, he did.
No, hey, Tara. Dr. Tara.
I can't even get over this.
See what I mean? Tara, doesn't he look like
Do you know what
it?
the Hamburglar looks like? Because then you're really in for it. Oh, yeah, look at the guy who was doming that guy.
Hamburglar. No.
It's not good.
No.
Yeah, it's not good.
No.
So, Dr. Tara, with your experience in the dom sub world, how accurate was that?
I can't. There's a costume.
No.
Halloween costume.
No, I don't want to see that. She's showing me a picture of like a larger woman in a Hamburglar outfit.
Halloween costume.
That's not good. That's not good for anybody. How accurate was that portrayal of the dom sub relationship?
Are we being serious?
Yeah. Just in the sense of like try to suspend disbelief for a moment. Like a purple thing wasn't on. It doesn't even have knees.
We messed up. We should have shown Tara what they look like before. But then I would have given it away.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought they were regular people.
Oh, you're
I thought they
picturing
were
that
regular,
with like regular people?
Yeah.
I did think you had an underwhelming response to that, sort of facially. Now, but is it bad if you have a dom sub relationship and it's secret?
No.
Doesn't affect it at all, and it might even heighten
probably
it, right?
better.
Yeah, it's probably better.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a secret dom sub relationship in your life? Really?
Yeah.
And why did it have to be secret?
Because that person is a person of authority.
Muggs, I swear if you take your pants off while she's saying this.
Is a person of authority.
Muggs just went from 6 to midnight over there. It's a
yeah.
person of authority.
Yeah.
And that was the Dom?
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought a big part of Dom sub relationships was like the irony, like you wanted to break away, you know, like
No.
the CEO would want to be a sub.
No. Well, this person was a cop.
This person was a cop? Wow.
Yeah.
Cops are kind of freaky, man.
Yeah.
I dated a cop one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You dated a woman cop?
Yeah, a woman cop one time.
Did she dom you?
No, not at all.
She spank you?
No. But I'm not into that. I would just laugh. We've talked about this. I don't think I would be anyone's
Oh, but I bet she wants to be a sub when she's in bed. Because
Maybe.
like she has to dom all day.
Yeah, right? Maybe. Well, Muggs, I guess thanks. I guess thanks for that.
So now that I looked them up,
Yeah.
I now really have to go take a shower.
Yeah. It's pretty alarming. I don't think I'll ever eat there again.
Well, I know why the hamburger likes Grimace.
I
so
also
much.
don't know. I don't think Grimace has holes.
You don't know that.
That's true.
You didn't even know who he was.
That's true. I haven't been to McDonald's for like, I swear, like, I don't know, 15 years.
How's the McDonald's in Thailand?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
What do they have?
I feel
Spicy
like
chicken.
I just want you to know. Sometimes I feel like you're on my team when it comes to him, and I go, okay, well you're gonna help parent this person on the show, and then you encourage him, and you
Damn.
yeah. So
Whoops.
let's not encourage the behavior. Thank you, Muggs, for putting that together.
Absolutely.
Now, I do, in the remaining time left before we have to take another break on Loveline, we are going to get to more of your questions coming up next segment. But I thought this was a very interesting story that I'd love your academic or clinical analysis of. SNL 50 was last weekend.
Yeah.
And that was really fun. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody in America that didn't grow up watching SNL. And
It was great.
It was great. And Pete Davidson was a part of that. And he's obviously had a very public dating history. And this is a story that was brought to our attention here at Loveline. It says, former Saturday Night Live star Pete Davidson is responding to the criticism he's received about his previous love life, with A-list celebrity women. Davidson, who is now 31 years of age, claimed he's been, quote, harassed about his past relationships due to his appearance, saying, quote, everyone is dating everyone, and it's Hollywood, Davidson told Page Six. Look at Paul Mescal, Timmy Chalamet. How do you say this guy's name? Barry Keogh?
Kyogen.
No, there's no N at the end of his name. Barry Keogh? How do you say this guy's name? He used to date Sabrina Carpenter.
Kyogen.
Kugan?
I thought there's an N at the end.
Spell it.
Keough.
Keo.
Okay, I don't know. Whatever. He's the guy that was naked at the end of that Saltburn movie.
Love. I
Yeah.
love him.
Okay, so you know, but how do you say his name?
Kyogen.
Okay, we don't know. But it says
He's Irish.
I'm in the middle of a quote, and you people are okay. I'm starting over the quote. Everyone is dating
Stefan.
everyone. Shut up. Everyone is dating everyone, and it's Hollywood, Davidson says. Look at Paul Mescal, whatever that guy's name is, Timmy Chalamet, Barry, whoever. But because I'm ugly, they wrote about me. I was harassed for like 5 years, and it made my life a living hell. The comedian added that the scrutiny was, quote, pretty humiliating and upsetting. Davidson rose to fame after he landed an audition through SNL alum Bill Hader. Okay, that's very good. But that's basically the quote that pertains to Loveline. I have a couple quick takeaways, and then I'll tee it up to the doctor here. I think that people will read this and go, what do you mean it's pretty humiliating and upsetting? You're rich. You're famous, whatever that means, right? I think people say awful, awful things about famous people or just people that they don't know. And they don't realize that's a person. I mean, everybody listening right now, if you've ever put out a piece of content, I mean, whether you're famous or not, and you see a negative response, you read that like they would never say that to your face.
Right?
I mean, we even have people on YouTube that I don't even remember this woman's name, and I don't want to draw attention to her because I don't need enemies in this world. But somebody left a nasty comment on a Loveline post, and it was so like it was just so irrational. And it was and I just go, this person would never say this to my face.
No.
And then you click on the person, you go, oh, they got bigger issues than than whatever I got going on. But yeah, it's like people say things about celebrities that are just, or even in what I do for a living, interviewing people, and and a lot of those people are celebrities, and then my friends back home or family friends will go, oh yeah, well, what about so-and-so? I bet they're blank, blank, blank. And I go, I think that's one of the coolest guys I've met in Los Angeles or wherever. So I do think that's going on here psychologically. But I do think that people get really mad about this stuff. And before you tell me why, let me offer a theory. Like, I remember Billy Joel used to get crap because I think he dated. Who was he married to, Muggs? Muggs is on his phone.
He's texting Cody, dude. He was, what's her name?
Christy Turlington? Is that her name?
I thought it was.
You can look it up.
Wasn't it Susan Sarandon? Didn't they have a kid?
No.
Susan Sarandon?
Please look it up.
Billy Joel?
Billy Joel was married to somebody.
Like Piano Man?
Yeah, if you just Google this, it would be awesome.
I am, dude. God.
By the way, whenever I ask you a question on Loveline, I mean Google it.
Okay. Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Alexis Roderick.
No, man.
He's had like 4 wives, dude.
Who was the first one?
Billy Joel, first wife, Elizabeth Weber.
Okay, just type in Billy Joel famous girlfriends.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, you've asked me 3 different questions in the last 30 seconds.
Imagine Muggs on Jeopardy.
I'd be hitting the buzzer like a madman. Okay. Elle Macpherson, Christy Brinkley.
Yes, there you go. Christy Brinkley, and then Elle Macpherson. These are beautiful women from the 80s and 90s. And they're still probably beautiful right now. Just that's when they were famous. And so, like, he used to get a lot of crap, right? And you see this sometimes, like, women will see a large woman with a skinny guy or something. They'll say something nasty about it. Is it because, like, they feel like they don't deserve it? Is that really as simple as it is, the psychology of, like, they don't deserve it?
I think the psychology of that is that the person observing what's happening, that person is experiencing what is called cognitive dissonance. Have you heard of that?
No. Well, maybe, but please explain it for everyone else.
So, cognitive dissonance occurs when it's either you are behaving against your belief or you're observing 2 of your beliefs conflicting one another. So maybe you observe a beautiful woman and you're like, in your subjective beauty standards, right? Like, oh, that's a beautiful woman. Like, she should be with an attractive man, but this man is not attractive. This unattractive man shouldn't be with this woman. What's going on? And it causes an actual, like, cognitive dissonance in their head, and they're processing and they're like, that doesn't make sense. Like, do not compute, So I think that's just what's going on in people's minds. Now, what they end up saying or expressing, that's a different thing. Some people see something and they just think it and they don't say it. But then there's a lot of people that are mean and, they want to express themselves in the world, especially on the internet. Then they feel like they want to say it.
Well, it is just really... We're all probably to a certain extent self-conscious about our appearance.
Right,
There are probably things that, and the irony, right, and the joke on us as humans is most people would never notice the things that bother us.
Yeah.
But
oh my God.
What?
Can I tell you something?
Please.
So
Is it something about my face?
Yes. Ejaculate.
What?
Nice.
It was a joke that Mux
I loved it.
used earlier.
I get it.
Thank you, Mux.
Point for Tara.
Muggs and I are always doing a role play, but
What were you gonna say?
So I was gonna say, I'm trying to remember. This was like maybe like a few months ago.
Okay.
No, more than a few months ago.
And what does this have to do with?
What we're talking about.
Okay.
So my husband and I was at a party, and
was this like a sex party or a normal party?
normal party.
Okay.
Sex party is also normal.
Yeah.
But just a party. And then I heard a group of younger women that was like, oh my God, I think that's him. And so they were like, oh, like who's he with? I didn't know he was dating someone, And then I heard one of the girls said, oh, he can do better.
Were they talking about your husband?
Yeah.
Wait. So these people didn't even know your husband was married?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
He can do better. Now that must have, if you, I don't know how vulnerable you are, Dr. Tara, but that had to feel terrible.
It felt off-putting. Yeah.
But you don't think that hurt your feelings? That had to have hurt your feelings.
Yeah, I would say yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think I like crumble from like 22-year-olds on like.
Right, but like that probably did. You remembered it.
I do. I remember many things.
Right.
I remember when I went number 2 this morning.
So it's like
does it mean anything?
I don't know why. That seems like something Muggs would list on his LinkedIn. It's like he's like, I handle production for Loveline. I remember many things.
Yeah, I remember many things.
Back to what Tara was saying. She probably didn't let it affect her because she's smart and she's not going to let a shallow thought rule her
Right,
life.
exactly.
It's just a shallow observation.
Exactly.
To say, she's too good for her, she could have done better, that's a shallow observation without knowing anything.
Well, definitely. But I think even the dumbest things will get to me sometimes. So I'll just be like, who's this idiot? And then I run a sports betting page, right? Not everything I say is a joke, Dr. Tara. She laughs. Whenever I say anything, she laughs. And so I do. Sports betting's a passion of mine, and so I give out free picks. And sometimes those picks don't work out. The other team wins, right?
Oh.
And the first couple times I was putting out these videos, and I would just get like the meanest comments back whenever the game didn't go my way, and it would really, really affect me. And I'd think of like this really mean comeback, and I'd go on their page, and I'd go, what am I doing with my life? But then you go through that a couple times, and you go, okay, well, this is just like, these are just strangers yelling at you through a screen.
Yeah.
You don't have to respond to these people.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's unfortunate people are like that, but those people never know what the hell's going on, because the most beautiful people in the world are probably like, you don't want to date them.
Right.
Yeah. And you would never know that though. But I think there's a lot of like celebrity idolization going on in America and probably any culture. And so it's like
we talked about this before, the Sam Taylor Johnson and how hot he is, and like how all the girls on TikTok are like, he shouldn't be with that old woman.
Exactly.
When she's like a perfectly normal woman.
And I will attest to most of the people that are saying mean things about Pete Davidson. I just couldn't hold whatever the
flame.
They couldn't hold a flame. They probably their personality is probably pale in comparison to Pete Davidson.
100%. They're probably not attractive and not clever and not interesting.
Their personality is his character on SNL, Chad.
Yes, that's a great. You know what? And like, good for him, because who knows if that's where the character is born out of, is like sort of like retaliation of these idiots, true idiots. Chad, if you're not familiar, is this very funny, like kind of bumbling fool.
I like Chad. Yeah.
So you know Chad on SNL. But Pete Davidson has been through so much in his life, has overcome so much in his life, has accomplished so much in his life. The idea, and he's also not ugly.
No,
he's just not an ugly guy.
I don't think so
at all. And the idea,
he's a solid 7.
Oh, there you go. I love that the doctor is objectifying. This is great. So we've totally lost the plot.
Slightly over mid.
Can I just have a segment where I objectify men?
Yeah, that's good. We'll save it for April Fool's Day, maybe. So I just think this is terrible that people are doing this, and I feel so bad to read that he says here that I was harassed for 5 years and it made my life a living hell. And I mean, because he had to go through. He was engaged to Ariana Grande, and then that kind of dissolved out of nowhere seemingly, and that's something you have to mourn as a human, and then to have all these morons online making videos, and it's really messed up. I mean, it's really messed up that we live in this world where these people are trying to gain clout and attention through just being really vile about other human beings who are actually talented. Like Pete Davidson is actually a craftsman of comedy.
Yeah, he's been on SNL for years, and they have very rigorous auditioning system. Like, he would not be on SNL for that long.
And he's a stand-up comedian. He's made a movie.
Yeah.
He had a TV show called Bupkis, and then some absolute idiot who doesn't know how anything works, can't even probably get out of their own way in their own life, is saying that he shouldn't be with whoever he's. And also, if you even care who a celebrity's dating and you have an opinion on it,
get a life.
Get a life. I was about to say get an effing life, and I forgot we were on the radio. We are going to take a break right now, and when we come back on Loveline, we are going to take some more of your questions.
Woo.
Again, if you want to try to get through on the phone lines, it is 1-833-LOVE-191. That is 1-833-5683-191. And if you don't get through, please, by all means, leave a message. We will call you back. Next on Loveline, your questions and Dr. Tara.
Back with more Loveline.
Back on Loveline, it is Kevan Kenney and Dr. Tara. If you want to get a hold of us, it is 1-833-LOVE-191. That is 1-833-5683-191. And what's great about that is that even if you can't get a hold of us, leave a message and we can call you back. There's a voicemail, and we would love to hear from you if you have any questions. Now, we're going to get to some questions right now in our final segment of Loveline tonight. And these are anonymous, which is great. So if you're, if you want to send in a question via social media or otherwise, it's completely anonymous. Mm-hmm. Now let's get to this one. I have not read these, so hopefully this is interesting. What happens when I end up having sex with my celebrity crush, Hugh Grant? Did this person? Did they have sex with Hugh Grant?
I don't know. I want to have sex with Hugh Grant.
You do? Why? Because you like his movies?
Yeah.
Do you find what do you find sexy about Hugh Grant?
The accent.
Yeah. Why do women like accents?
Because it's exotic and hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think
Don't
that's
you
it?
like accents?
Yeah, maybe. But I feel like with women there is this archetype where they enjoy a guy with an accent.
I think the connotation is like a British gentleman.
Yeah, I think there's something, and maybe this is the
versus
American
like a
mind.
derpy American.
Right? Yeah, no, the American mind, I think they attach a sophistication to an accent.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Now, do you think celebrity crushes are a good idea in general?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Why?
it just allows people to be imaginative, which I'm always a supporter of.
But haven't you also told us that there is a downside to idolization?
Extreme idolization, yeah, but just because you want to have sex with someone doesn't mean you idolize them. I have many celebrities on my hall pass list.
You know what's funny about that is a friend of mine was telling me that they love like Jimmy Kimmel or Adam Sandler, and they obviously just love them because they're funny and they're charismatic and they're good at what they do. And their boyfriend gets really, really like legitimately upset when they'll be watching the TV and an Adam Sandler movie's on or Jimmy Kimmel show is on, and they say something positive about them. Now, obviously, that guy is like terrifically insecure, but isn't that funny?
That's sad.
Well, don't you think? But I feel like women can have celebrity crushes, and there's no feelings attached to that. They like that guy for whatever reason.
No
it's like
feelings.
Different.
Yeah.
It's like it's even like.
But I would have sex with them given the opportunity.
Well, that's a different conversation. But I think that a lot of people are the same way. The guys are the same way, where it's like, yeah, I like looking at my Instagram Explore page, which is like filled with bikinis and what have you.
Is that your Explore page?
Yeah, that's a lot of it. It's like that and sports. But
do you think your girlfriend dislikes it?
Yeah, I mean, she probably feels the type of way about it. But I don't see that and go, I want to date those people or I want to sleep with those women. It's just something in the brain that just goes like, oh, that's nice to look at.
It's like eye
a
candy.
Blue sky. Yeah, like a nice bikini picture is like a gorgeous blue sky. At least to me.
Well, defend yourself, brother.
Yeah, I'll try. The next question is, how can I be more confident dominating my boyfriend in bed? He's really keen to try.
Practice, honestly. There's no better answer because the first time someone asked me to can you be a little bit more dominating, I was so awkward. I didn't know what to do. I said some things and then I started laughing and
What made you laugh?
I think I said something along the line of like just simple, like get on your knees or something like that, and then I just started laughing. I'm like, this is silly.
You do laugh a lot.
This is silly.
You laugh a lot.
Yeah, because I think it's silly. And this guy was like, oh, like you just killed the mood.
Right, because you laughed.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Such a rookie move. It took me, I would say, years to be confident enough to completely dom for 10 minutes.
And what led to that? What was the breakthrough when you look back?
I think it's when I started becoming more comfortable in general during sex. So when I felt more sexually empowered in general, not just as a dom. Like I was more like loose and I felt more comfortable in my own skin during sex. I wasn't like very tense. I was communicating more of what I want, what feels good, what doesn't feel good in the moment, instead of just people pleasing and try to like, help my partner feel good and I don't care about myself. So once I like worked on becoming more sexually empowered and communicative, I feel like that translates also into being able to like role play, because technically when I dom, it's like kind of a role play, because I don't know if that's in my natural personality, but you may say otherwise from all the times I tell you to hurry up. But
yes she tries to dom me on the show sometimes, has varying degrees of success. Is that just reps though? For this woman who
it's
wrote
reps,
in,
yeah. Like
to get more
and
comfortable.
also like when you read Erotica with women dom, you feel a little bit more comfortable too.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what this woman can do.
Yeah, I read. I forgot the name, but I read one, and I remember afterwards, I'm like, I practiced saying that in the car because I didn't read it. I listened to it like audiobook, and I heard her say something. I actually laughed, but then I said it again by myself. I'm like, that sounds pretty good. And then I said it again in the car. I'm like, I think I can say this next time. So the next time with that lover that I had in the past, I said that in bed, and I didn't laugh, and he really liked it. So.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
and I feel
he had
like
a hard on immediately.
Okay, I'm glad we know that now. So, do you think that it's important to say that in the world of doming that there's different flavors as there are in ice cream, in the sense of, if you are turned off to certain phrases or certain types of doming, maybe find your groove, find your genre of doming.
Wow, I love that you just said that, because we should have this person on the show in the future. She created like the dom archetypes, and it's for women.
Oh, really?
So there
like different
are
archetypes.
Okay.
Okay.
There are different archetypes. From my memory, there's like kind of like mummy, like kind of a taking care, like mummy vibes.
Oh, I thought you meant mummy, like they wrap them in like toilet paper.
Wow, your brain and my brain.
I'm a mummy type of dom, which means I just act like Brendan Fraser the entire time we have sex.
Oh my god! Wow, your brain and my brain are not the same.
How about you call it mommy?
Mommy.
Yeah.
Mommy. So there's that archetype, and then there's also kind of like the authoritarian archetype, like really tough, like punishing.
Yes.
And then there's other archetypes, but we should have her on to talk about it. I find it very
She
interesting.
lives here in LA?
Yes,
And is she a dom
has,
herself?
These master classes where there's like hundreds of women taking them.
Really?
Yeah.
Would she ever let like Muggs report on that if we sent him as a reporter?
No, it's women only.
Oh, it's women only?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Why?
Oh, that bums me out.
You'd like to go to the...
You gave him hope.
He does. You know what? I will say this. I think it's really awesome that Muggs is as... And I don't know if he's always been this way, Muggs, and you can speak for yourself. But Muggs is very... confident and comfortable, and I think like open about his preferences.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
I think that's really cool too, Max. I really like that about you.
So get me into the party then.
I can't. It's not a party. It's a class. It's a master class. It's all women, so no men allowed. But anyways, this woman, I had her on my podcast. She came to my apartment. Guess with who?
Who?
I said, guess. Oh my
Guess?
god.
I mean, what am I supposed to get? Grimace.
I love
you
that
suck.
class.
You suck so bad.
That's very dumb of you to say.
With her slave.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with her like.
You looked me in the eye. You thought I was going to guess that?
I thought you would know.
Oh, who would she have come with? Let me see. Oh yeah, her slave. And was the who? I mean, how do you greet those people?
She came with her service sub that like has a
Yeah, she cleaned that up real quick, and now it's a service sub.
Service sub.
No, I'm her service sub.
He was on his knees like the whole time, and he could not speak until she says speak.
I got a question for you. So if somebody's listening and new neighbors move in across the street, and it happens to be a dominatrix woman who with a service sub, and she comes over with some sort of fruit pie or something, saying welcome to the neighborhood to you, and on a leash. Right there is her service sub. Do you have to be mean to the service sub? Can you treat the service sub like an equal, or is that going to offend the dom?
You should not speak to the service sub.
Okay, well that's okay. So wait, hold on. You just told me I don't have to be mean to it. Oh, so
You
I
don't
shouldn't
have to
even
be
acknowledge
mean.
it?
Yeah, you don't
That's worse than a
acknowledge it.
dog. If somebody came over with their dog, I would greet the dog. I can't even greet the service sub?
No.
Why?
It's in their role play. It's in like their roles. Well, I shouldn't say role play because it's not. It's like their relationship. It's within their relationship.
So they were on all fours?
Yes.
So-
she dictates when he can speak.
So she doesn't live down the street from you, does she?
Who?
This Dom that came over your house. She don't live down the
She
street
doesn't
from
live
you,
far
right?
from
she
you.
drove to your house.
Yes.
Okay, so did you say
The
from me?
The sub drove to the house.
Right. Don't reveal where anyone lives, by the way, on Loveline. Sometimes I truly think that Dr. Tar forgets there's a listening audience of strangers.
I thought this is just my apartment. Just hanging out.
I'm saying wherever the hell you live.
Bros night.
She drove there, right? Stop with this. Stop with this right now. So we're gonna take your music privileges away, Muggs. So this woman drove to your apartment with her
service sub drove.
Okay, so but what's so hilarious about this? But when you meet the service sub at the door, he's on his hands and knees.
Yeah.
So but in the car, he's driving.
Yeah.
Okay, so a question for you: at what point from the car to your front door do you think she makes him get on all fours? Is it like do they
I
cross
think in
the
front of
street?
my door.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
So this
like
poor
we're-
guy's like walking across the street. He's
Not
like,
a poor guy. He loves it.
Right. This is amazing. This amazing guy.
You know, he paid her to be able to do this.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing.
There's someone for everybody.
There really is.
Yeah.
There really
yeah.
is. And
But
if you
yet,
can't-
Muggs is single.
well, but he likes being single. He does.
Do you?
He just hasn't found the right Dom.
Muggs, do you like being single?
Gets boring.
What kind of energy do you want to put in the universe, Muggs?
Not walking around on my hands and knees, I'll tell you that much.
Well, you're into a little bit of submissive work, right?
Yeah, but I'm not walking around on my goddamn hands and knees.
All right. Is that where you draw the line?
Yeah, dude.
All right.
What about just?
What's up with that?
What about
no,
just
no, no.
knees?
In public.
What about
I-
just
public,
knees?
in
in public. I will not do that.
Can you imagine she's driving the road and going, is that Muggs? Where? No, on the ground. You know? Okay. Well, I think that was we sufficiently answered that listener's question. Now, this person wants to know, what is a good lube for someone with sensitive skin?
Water-based lube.
Okay. And just look for that.
Yeah.
We don't want to plug. We don't want to get. Hey, by the way,
No.
if you're watching Loveline right now, another PSA. I'll look right at the camera here. If you want to watch on YouTube, if you run a lube company and you thought you were about to get a free plug out of Dr. Tara, you better pay up, sucker. All right.
Sponsor us, please. We love
Yes. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm trying to be theatrical.
you. Be nice, Kevin.
Yes. Okay. The next question: do you have advice for a man that has performance anxiety?
I have said this again, and I will say it again because there's a lot of empirical research evidence for it. Is for him to try sexual meditation, because I can, suggest an easy way out as well. Like try all these pills. It will keep you hard. Like you will still mentally feel anxious, but at least you'll be hard. But that's the easy way out. And you don't want to be like, if you're writing in and you're like a 22-year-old guy, you want to be taking medication every single time you have sex for the rest of your life. You don't want that. So I think trying things that are like more sustainable would be good. And if you're wondering and curious, you can look up my YouTube and check out the sexual meditation that I do on there.
So a question for you. For people that take, I won't say the brand names, but that take like, the erection medication. Is that like any drug where you can build a tolerance to it and you'll need to take more and more and more?
You can build tolerance to
Wow.
it.
So
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I think I have built tolerance with ibuprofen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so now I'm
Wow.
switching.
Oh, to another one.
Yeah, like
Okay.
if I have a headache, I just like take an ibuprofen and I feel like it doesn't work.
Huh.
Anymore.
Interesting. Okay, so just something to keep in mind when all these, it's really like a dystopian world we're building for these young men. If you think about it, between gambling and between the gambling stuff and then the
Sexless relationships,
but then
or
also
no dating.
the erection
Yeah.
pills. It's just like, I don't know. It's really weird that no one is like. And you know what's weird is like if you say what I'm saying, you're looked at like you're out of touch or something. But it's like I love sports betting, but I do it in a very different way than the common person does it. I don't do parlays, and this isn't a sports betting show, so I'm just making a point. But I don't do it for thrills. I almost do it like investing. I don't even watch the games. People think I'm crazy. There were 3 or 4 games today. I didn't even watch
but it's
them.
like the stocks
But-
market for you.
Yes, exactly that. But I want to make a bigger point here. And so I'll watch I can't say the name of the company, but there's a company that I've seen have started to use incredibly attractive women that I'm not even kidding. Some of the verbiage in the copy, that, as they say in like advertising, some of the verbiage in this is like, oh, I love a guy that uses this app, or I love a guy that knows like, but I don't think it's funny. I actually think it's really disgusting, and I think it's really messed up to attach that. So now we have sexless young men who are taking these erectile pills.
And moneyless young men.
And they're moneyless now. And it's just like, I don't think there's like, I don't mean to make this show so serious, but there is a serious side to Loveline. I think it's like, I would go so far as to say criminal. And if you listen to a lot of that stuff, the commercials, it's insane. But it's this novel thing where people don't know it's bad, but it's literally like giving people bad financial advice is what you're doing. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's so, but people like normalize like, oh, it's fun, it's sports, but it's another thing that's affecting young men, and I think it's just like it's crazy.
But there are so many brands that capitalize on young men's insecurities.
And probably young women too.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Why do you think cosmetic is like $1 trillion?
Dude, it's crazy. Sometimes I'll see stuff that my girlfriend has on her face, and I go, "What does that do?" And she goes, "Well, it does this." And I go,
are you one of those guys that are like, you look better without makeup?
You mean like if I'm trying to sleep with a girl?
No, like with your girlfriend.
I'm kidding. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I use that line. I think that I will say this. I would. What do I want to say?
I mean, my husband says that to me. But I'm still going to put makeup on because I want to.
But the thing is this. It's more so about the work than the makeup. I think that work, that's another thing that your body builds tolerance to. Because people don't realize you don't get work done and then you're like, oh, I mean, not all work is the same. But if you're getting filler, if you're getting Botox, you got to get that, dude.
Right.
You got to get that. And by the way, whatever you want to do to your body, do to your body. But you asked me about if I think women look better without makeup. I would say maybe, but more so if I see a BBL, and it always happens in the airports. I'll see a BBL and I won't go, wow, what a great behind. I'll go, oh, wow, that's like a crazy BBL. My mind sees it as something else. I don't attribute it to the woman. I don't go, man, you have a nice blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, wow, that's a large procedure you had done, right? And I think the same thing with a lot of work done in the face, where it's just kind of like, I really do think your brain goes, that's not human.
Right.
Because it just doesn't make sense to the human brain. You know what I mean? Because our brains are constantly doing that. We're going, that's a tree, that's a car, that's a threat, that's a man, that's a woman, that's a dog. And then I think there's something that happens in the brain where you just go,
is that a robot?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Or, I mean, I could talk a lot more about that, but we don't have much time. So I want to get to a couple more questions here on Loveline. So it says here, my wife used to climax from nipple play and oral, but now it's only with penetration. And then there's a what do you call it when you shorten something, an acronym? WCID. What does that mean? Muggs, can you look that up? WCID. Oh, what could it? I don't know.
What can I do?
What can I do? Maybe it's what can I do? So his wife used to climax from nipple play and oral, but now it's only with penetration.
That is so interesting.
Right.
Because people can usually orgasm from oral, but not penetration.
You think this guy, and I'm just saying this, I don't know, this guy might be a nice guy. You think this guy's searching for like a backhanded compliment?
Yeah.
You think he's posturing a little bit to Dr. Tara? Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to move on from that?
Yeah.
Okay. The next question's gross. We're not asking that. Okay. This person,
I kind of want to hear.
No. It's like it's a question about you that we're not gonna. I will never. Trust me. I'll tell you off air. This next woman says it takes me longer to climax than it does him. Her partner. How can he last longer and I climax faster?
As a woman, you can climax a little bit faster when you're more sexually aroused, and that can come from foreplay, that can come from oral beforehand, that can come from like manual stimulation, using fingers beforehand, because when there's more blood pulled in your genital area, you're more likely to orgasm vaginally. For him to last longer, there are various methods. Edging has been one of the practices that people recommend, the start-stop method, but also there are things that can help, like a delay spray or a delay like condom. So there's different
What
options.
does that do? Numbs the man?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That seems like it wouldn't be fun.
But you still orgasm at the end.
This person wants to know, what is a healthy number of times you should have sex in a week?
It's subjective because some people are very satisfied with like one time a week. Some people are not satisfied and only happy with, 4 times a week. And I have actually had many clients who are satisfied with just once every 2 weeks. So it really depends on the person. It's a very individualized thing. However, there's research that shows couples that reported having sex at least once a week are significantly happier than couples who don't have sex at least once a week.
Are there any health benefits on what time of day you have sex? Is one time a day better than the other? Like if you wake up and have sex versus if you go to bed and have sex?
I don't think so. However, because of the positive hormones that are like being produced, you could maybe feel the positive benefits longer in the morning because you have sex and then you feel good and then you experience the endorphins and the oxytocin and the dopamine. So maybe you get to use it longer than at night where you kind of just go to bed. Also, it's hard for people to orgasm at night after big meals.
Really?
Yeah. So there's like a correlation.
That's what's going on.
I was gonna say, Muggs, when you were experiencing flatulence, or you feared you were during fellatio
From the Hot Ones Challenge?
From the Hot Ones Challenge. You know what? That's amazing. I forgot that's why. Did you climax?
No.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why.
Maybe you have to quit chicken wings.
We should get Sean. We should get Sean Evans on the show, the host of Hot Ones.
Oh, yeah.
The creator of Hot Ones, and we should say, Sean, you see what's happening? There's actually sexual ramifications.
We should give him the question: climax or chicken wings?
We should.
Which one?
No, you know what we should do? We should give him a lineup of me, Muggs, and Dr. Tara, and go, which one of these people do you think did the Hot Ones challenge and then got fellatio? All right, the last question before we get out of here: how do you manage vastly different libido in a marriage, which is partially caused by different responses to stress?
Compromise. There's a lot of people out there. This is the number one issue in long-term relationships. If you ask any sexologist or sex therapist, they will say this is one of their top 3 problems that they've heard, which is mismatched libidos or differences in sexual desire. And there is no shortcut. There is no, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If that discrepancy is really big, it could just be problematic forever. Or unless you accept them outsourcing sexual satisfaction, outsourcing it to someone else. But you can also look at it in terms of okay, I respect and understand my partner. They have certain needs. I have certain needs. I'm not compromising my, boundaries. However, there are certain things that we can do together that is similar to penetrative sex, but is not. For example, when you do naked cuddling, you also release oxytocin, which is, positive hormones that that makes you feel good, which could feel similar to having sex or orgasming, especially in long-term relationships. So I would say, compromise, and I'm going to just give you clear examples. Let's say you only want to have sex once a week. Your partner wants to have sex 4 times a week. There is a discrepancy of 3, right? 3 times. What are we going to do in this 3 times? Maybe for 1 week, these 3 days can be naked cuddling, can be oral, can be hand job.
Cheating.
And then and then the following week, you can maybe up the penetrative sex to 2 days a week, and so on. So it's it takes compromise, just like anything else in long-term relationships. You work on it.
So you are for potentially outsourcing sex?
Yeah.
How do you feel about sexual tariffs?
I'm not paying. I'm not paying. If they want to pay, sure.
All right. 1-833-LOVE-191. That is the number that you can leave a voicemail at because this show is over for this week. 1-833-5683-191. And leave us a voicemail. Let us know if you have any questions. Of course, you can always DM us. It's strictly anonymous. We would never reveal your username or your identity. This is a very safe space in all seriousness here at I Love Loveline. And then also, Dr. Tara, Tara here at lovebites.co. That is LUVBITES.co. And you can watch, if you're listening on the radio or the podcast, you can always watch the episode on YouTube, youtube.com/KROQ.
Yeah, if you're visual.
If you're visual. And there's Muggs. Muggs did something.
I do a lot of things, man.
Hey, you and Grimace and Hamburger combined do a lot. All right.
Said.
Muggs, thank you for everything. Dr. Tara, we will see you next time on Loveline.
This has been Loveline. The opinions expressed on Loveline are not necessarily those of staff, management, sponsors, or the station.
Loveline is produced and engineered by Jonathan Beermug Cantrell. Loveline is a presentation of the world famous KROQ.